Hello everybody, thank you for joining me for your weekly reading for the week of April 13th to April 19th, 2020. Hope everyone has had a beautiful weekend. I did just put out the Weekend to Love readings on Friday. I will have the link to that in the description, and you can also find it on my page. That said, I'm going to take a deep breath to connect deeper with my higher self and spirits. I do implore you to do the same. Call to Spirit to please help myself and anyone watching this to hear, see, and know anything we need to hear, see, and know for the week of April 13th to the 19th, 2020, keeping in mind it can apply at any time you watch it. I'm going to go ahead and be using the Golden Dawn Tarot, Dragon Tarot, and likely clarifying with some other decks, and closing with the animal messages. We're going to do 3 shuffles and get into the energies for this week. Alright, before I get into it, keep in mind that time and energy are fluid, so these messages can apply any which way, so don't force it if it doesn't fit. Take it resonates and leave what doesn't. Starting out, what do we have? We have the 2 of Cups, already a beautiful energy here. We have the 4 of Wands reverse. We have the 7 of Cups. At the bottom of the deck we have the Sun, 4 of Cups, and I'm going to go ahead and take these 2 here, Princess of Wands, Tower, and I'll take the 3 of Cups as well. Alright, I'm going to straighten these out. We'll jump right into this energy here. So we're already feeling like quite a nice energy. It's very similar to some of the readings that have come out before, given the circumstances are fairly similar. But I feel like progress is definitely being made. It feels like both in a relationship and within our internal experience. Because when I see the 2 of Cups, to me that represents the balance between the divine feminine and masculine energies. But I'm seeing this Princess of Wands here, and this can represent a new person that is coming to your life. And it feels like something that is coming really quickly. But there seems to be a sense of like holding back, and I think that's because of the distance that many of us are at right now. So it's almost like conflicting type of energy, right? We have the Sun, we have the 4 of Cups, the 4 of Wands reverse, and the Tower here. But then we also have this 2 of Cups and the 3 of Cups. And so it's feeling like this new person may have come in really swiftly, or maybe there was a new development within a relationship you've been dealing with, or somebody new you've been talking to, and maybe somebody came forth and told you how they felt. I feel like this is what is represented here with this 4 of Cups energy. It feels like this person may have had an epiphany. It can go honestly any which way, so really just take what resonates and leave what doesn't, because with these collective readings, I notice I tend to go on tons of different routes and paths because so many different things can come through because it's for a collective, right? So just, if you find your own meanings to these cards, definitely apply those. But when I see the Sun in the 2 of Cups, to me that's a very beautiful energy. It feels like there's a lot of loving energy on the board, given we do have a lot of cups. The 4 of Cups, though, it can be like an emotional checklist kind of card, and they need to kind of take a step back, evaluate our emotions. But it feels like this person here has done this, or whether this is you or the other person, you could be dealing with the fire sign, but it feels like this came to fruition in the sense that this person has had an epiphany, they had a tower moment, and by doing so they're forced to sit with their emotions and decide what it is they want out of a relationship. So again, this can apply to you, and if it does apply to you, I feel like this is why you or this other person is kind of holding back right now, because there's a sense of needing to evaluate what it really means for them to be in a relationship. And when I see the 7 of Cups, it's like they're curious, not necessarily about the other person, but about their own internal state. So this could very well represent you. So we're going to go and take it that route for right now. We're going to apply this to the internal experience of the divine feminine and masculine energies. Now what is interesting here is with the Princess of Wands, to me this represents the masculine and the feminine energy, because the Wands and the fire within the tarot is a masculine energy, but the Princess is a feminine energy. And so I feel like that is a nice balance between the two. And the fact that we do have the 2 of Cups here seems to be representative of that. So what I'm feeling like right now is any delays you may be experiencing, or maybe you're the one initiating, holding back, or there's like a delay of some sort. It's to really help you get in touch with what it is you've been feeling. I feel like a lot of us may have been so busy for so long that we didn't really, I don't want to say take the time, because I feel like a lot of us have tried to do the work, but I think when you're so busy, a lot of the times you just don't always want to sit and do the shadow work. You may not have the time. So right now, I feel like that is the situation many of us are in, where the universe is kind of placing all of us on hold, putting us on pause, making us evaluate ourselves in a deeper way. And again, this is like a very similar message that has come through for almost every single collective reading since all of this has started happening with the quarantines and the lockdowns, right? So it's feeling like we're well underway. There's definitely a lot of epiphanies being had here, because I feel like this tower moment doesn't necessarily feel like a really destructive energy. It feels like a really revisional type of energy, and whatever we're going through right now is helping us revise ourselves, not only within the external realms in terms of like where we're going to be doing or what we're going to be doing after this, but more so how what we associate with has either impacted our balance in a healthy way or an unhealthy way. Yeah, because this Three of Cups to me, it can be like a celebratory energy. It can be, I mean, it's not really a third-party energy to me right now, because we don't really have many cards on the table, and it doesn't feel like a strong, relationship energy coming through. I feel like this is a very internal, solitary type of energy of reflection, very similar to what we've been getting for a while now. So the reason I say so, and I feel like this applies to your career and your own life path, is because when I see wands in the tarot and it's not particularly set out to be a love reading, that can apply to our life path, our soul purpose. And so I feel like that's what a lot of us are revising right now. It's like we had this, I'm going to call it a business plan, even though it's not really a business plan, but it's just this kind of like this blueprint that a lot of us have embodied for a long time of our own soul path and the various experiences that we'll go through to lead us down different paths for healing and knowledge and whatever have you, whichever resonates. And so now that everything is changing, it's very likely that things aren't going to go completely back to normal, right? I think things, not only within the external, but within the way we interact with each other and the way we view ourselves within the context of the external relationships that we experience and our personal experiences of any really materialistic aspect of our perception. And we're really getting to this sense of understanding our place in the world on a deeper level. And I feel like that's the main energy coming through right now, but it doesn't feel like a scary, gloomy type of energy. I feel like it's a very beautiful type of blessing that is coming through for a lot of us right now, being able to take the time to do this. And I know like it's kind of difficult to say, oh, this is such a blessing that I get to do this shadow work or that I get to heal this aspect of myself, when a lot of the times, it's not always fun to do. But as you know, the ending of that cycle or coming out of those deep introspective periods really lead you to some beautiful calmer waters and just beautiful experiences. I don't know why I did the cards like this, bear with me. But we're going to clarify these here. Alright, so clarifying, I'm going to go ahead and do the seams, or the in-betweens, I suppose those would be the in-between. So in between these two we have the Knight of Pentacles reverse. In between these we have the Four of Cups coming out again. So I may need to look at this another way, or we just have another story coming through. Let's see here, what do we have? The Ten of Swords reverse. Bottom of the deck we do have the Empress and the Magician. This can definitely apply to your internal feminine energies. I would say this could be a counterpart situation, but there aren't really any counterparts on the table. I mean, we could look at the Two of Cups and the Empress as representative of some type of soulmate twin flame situation, but if I'm being honest, it really doesn't feel like that. I mean, we do have a Knight of Pentacles reverse here. This can represent like an earth sign you're dealing with, but it doesn't really feel like that's what's coming through for me right now. I feel like the direction I'm being guided for this reading is just towards your internal experience right now. So my apologies if you're looking forward to a love reading. Maybe it'll come out later on after I clarify, but if you do want to see those, you can go and watch the weekend love readings. They're timeless, and so they are applying to every single sign that you have. Doesn't matter which placement. So you can go ahead and watch those if you feel like you want a little bit more direct love reading, but right now this is looking like the internal growth experience right now. Particularly with your feminine aspects, I feel like you're coming into your feminine power, and I feel like this Four of Cups, it can represent an emotional checklist kind of card, but I feel like it's very similar to the Four of Swords. in the sense of you're not letting your emotions run wild. You're kind of taking time to rest. You're celebrating yourself in a lot more ways. You're not going through a lot of the struggles you may have been going through in the past because you've had time to work through a lot of stuff. And I feel like that's serving you very, very beneficially right now because we have the Magician on the table. When I say the Magician, this can represent a manifestation of types, so maybe you're reevaluating what you want to manifest in the future, and by doing so, it's helping you get out of a lot of long-standing cycles that you may have been dealing with. And I feel like this whole restructuring of our society and just social constructs in general is causing us to reevaluate which ways we want to move forward in the future, not only within, you know, the physical realms, but within our emotional experience, what we want to experience in relationships, and more accurately helping us define what it is we want out of life, relationships, and career, whatever it is that resonates with you. But when I see the Ten of Swords in reverse, that's what's kind of sticking out to me right now, because the Ten of Swords to me, when it's in the upright, can represent coming to the end of some burdensome cycles. But when it's in the reverse, I feel like there may be a last little push and pull that we need to get through. I feel like some of us, whoever's coming through in this reading, you may be feeling like you're stuck over this one small aspect of your experience. And I feel like this doesn't really necessarily represent being stuck, but to me it feels like uncertainty. And given we are in times that may feel very uncertain, this Ten of Swords reverse to me feels like that uncertainty that's coming through. And I feel like that's why we do also have this Knight of Pentacles reverse with the Four of Cups. I feel like a big reason you may be unsure about which way to move forward, whether it's in love, relationships, or your career, is because there's a lot of uncertainty right now. And so I'm feeling like the best way to go about that is to kind of just embody this Four of Wands reverse, embrace the delays, you know, take on the energy of this Magician, and really just orchestrate your life in ways that you may not have understood in the past. So maybe start embodying certain things that you've been wanting to for a while, really starting to act in certain ways that are more resonant with who you are. And I feel like a big reason we're going through this right now as a collective, it's stripping off the masks that we may have had on ourselves in order to see others more clearly, but also to see ourselves more clearly. And I feel like a big reason for that is because we don't always know we have those masks on, because we use them. They're like forms of our ego, parts of our ego that we use to interact in the world. And by having those, we don't always necessarily realize those egoic tendencies operating in our lives. And by slowing down, it's allowing us to remove those masks, see ourselves and others more clearly, and by doing so, help clarify the direction in which we want to move in terms of manifestation of various aspects of our lives. We're going to go ahead and clarify with the Mystical Cat Tarot. Before I even clarify, I want to touch on this Empress card. I feel like something is coming through with that while I was clarifying. Spirit was kind of guiding me to that. I feel like on your part right now, a good thing to do is reflect on what the Empress energy means to you. What does the Divine Feminine energy mean to you, and how does it relate to your experience? Because I feel like right now, Divine Feminine healing is happening wide scale, both internally and externally. And so I think right now is a good time to evaluate what that means to you. And instead of me like telling you what I'm getting with this card, Spirit's kind of guiding me to guide you to take a look into this energy within yourself. Like, what does it mean for you to heal the Divine Feminine aspects of yourself? What does it mean for you to be in a balance between masculine and feminine energies? And, you know, in what ways do you feel like you can let go of some beliefs that may have been holding you back? And are there any other ideas or energetic imprints that you can incorporate into your life that will help you understand the feminine energy within yourself on a deeper level? But we're going to go ahead and clarify the seams here. So we have the Three of Wands reverse. It's interesting because that came out, there was a last bottom of the deck card here, and I wasn't going to take it, but it seems it wants to come through anyways through this deck. So Three of Wands reverse, we have the Seven of Pentacles reverse, and then we have the Eight of Wands. Okay, I'll take the bottom of the deck. Spirit's telling me to take it. Put it right here. This could very well represent a relationship coming through. I'm going to be honest. I mean, this is what this Eight of Wands feels like to me right now. And it seems as if somebody that you may be dealing with, I mean, keep in mind, this seems to be taking another route. It's like we're branching off a little bit with this pull here. And so what I'm seeing with this Sky Queen, this can represent an air sign you're dealing with. It feels like somebody, whether that's you or another person, is really just done playing games, right? And that's what I'm seeing with this Three of Wands reverse, Seven of Pentacles, and the Eight of Wands, excuse me. When I see the Seven of Pentacles in the upright, to me that represents a energy where you're waiting around. There may be a type of cat and mouse game going on, but it really just feels like there is a sense of not wanting to sit around waiting for somebody to come through, really not waiting around for anybody to come around and, you know, offer a commitment or whatever it is you're looking for out of a relationship. Given Spirit's kind of guiding this in a relationship loving aspect, we're going to kind of take that perspective for now. Because when I see the Eight of Wands, to me this can represent somebody at a distance from you. This can also represent communication, you know, passionate communication. And so to me, in the context of these cards, it feels like embodying this divine feminine energy means you're not going to put up with the same things you have in the past. And I think that may cause a lot of people to feel, I guess, put off, I suppose, you know, because I think a lot of the times people come around expecting us to act the ways in which they have projected onto us without fully understanding the extent and speed at which we grow as humans, particularly if you do tend to embody that divine feminine nature. You know, it's very flowy and emotional in the sense of you're more in touch with your emotions, in the sense of being able to process things quicker, being able to transmute things quicker, and being able to understand things on a different level that somebody who embodies divine masculine energy more so wouldn't be able to do so in the same way, because it's not that it's not possible for the divine masculine energy, but by embodying that divine feminine energy, you tend to operate in that state more often, right? And I feel like that's why that question came up earlier of what does it mean to be in balance between the two for you, and how can you use the strengths of each to fortify each other within yourself? Because again, this does still feel like a very internal type of reading. While this can represent a relationship that came through, it really does feel like it's still an internal type of energy. And I'm kind of drawn to this Queen of Wands here, because the Queen of Wands to me represents somebody that is very quick with their words, very witty, very communicative. It can also represent somebody that's vindictive, somebody that is quick to cut somebody off, quick to speak their mind without thinking about what their words, what implications their words may have for other people. But that's more so in the reverse for that second half of the explanation. I mean, that's kind of all that's coming out here. That just seems like I kind of touch on this Three of Wands reverse, where it's like the lack of the desire to want to take a chance on somebody who isn't going to offer commitment, but more than anything, it feels like not waiting around for somebody to come around and offer that. I'm going to do one last clarification here, though. I want to do one last pull. Alright, Spirit, what do we have here? What do we need to know for the last pull? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and pull. How do I want to do this? I'm going to do... Well, we have the Queen of Swords coming out again, so I'm going to put that up here. Do these on the side. We have the Emperor, so yeah, it could be a counterpart situation. We have the High Priestess here. And then we have the Ten of Cups reverse, and then at the bottom of the deck, I'm going to go ahead and do it like this. We have the Sun reverse, and then we have Eight of Cups. I'm going to go ahead and pull the Seven of Wands, or excuse me, Seven of Swords too, in the universe. And I'm going to pull the Tower out again because we have the Tower. So I'll put the Tower here. I think I'm going to leave it there though, it's a lot of cards. Alright, let's dive into this. It does seem like it can be a counterpart situation. You can be dealing with the masculine energy if you do resonate with the Twin Flame journey. You know, more power to you. If you don't, then just, you know, don't apply it if it doesn't resonate, honestly. But it does seem like a counterpart situation is coming through, but I also feel like this is a reflection of your internal masculine energies, because we have the Emperor and the Empress, and they are in the upright, so that means they are in their positive aspects here. And that can be representing you coming into balance, but it can also represent you walking away from things that no longer serve you in life. And that's what I'm seeing with this Eight of Cups. and the Ten of Cups reverse. The Eight of Cups can represent walking away from something, being emotionally dissatisfied in some kind of way. And I feel like the fact that we have the Priestess clarified by the universe here, whatever you're going through, whatever emotional aspects are coming up in your life right now, it is helping you understand what it is you need to walk away from. And I feel like this can also apply to this masculine energy. If it is a counterpart, this may be what they're going through right now. They may be recognizing the fact that they have been operating out of this Seven of Wands type of energy, this kind of sneaky energy, shady energy, just kind of doing what's best for them without thinking about the consequences it may have on other people, particularly you as the feminine counterpart. But again, if you do resonate with the masculine energy, this would, apply to you, but it can also apply to your internal masculine energy. Again, not gender specific. But I do feel like something that is being cut out right now is a blessing in disguise, and that's what I see here with this Sun reverse. Sun reverse can also represent the moon, because I do see the sun and the moon as counterparts. But what I am seeing right now is there is a type of veil energy, and that's what I see with this Priestess. When I see the Priestess, to me that represents there are things being hidden from you for a reason, and it is for you to help get in touch with your intuition on a deeper level and to really see through some of the facades that people may be operating out of. And I feel like this goes back to the whole mask, this whole mask symbolism we had coming out earlier. It's like you need to learn to see through the masks of other people, but not let that be an excuse for them to operate in that way. Like, just because you can see the reason somebody is acting a certain way, maybe they're hurt, maybe something happened between you two, it doesn't give them an excuse to treat you poorly, and to realize that even though this person may be considered a counterpart or a soulmate or whatever you resonate with, it doesn't mean you have to stick around, and it is totally okay to walk away from that, especially if it is toxic or unhealthy, or you're just not resonating with it in any way, right? Because we all have free will, and I feel like that twin flame energy can shift to another vessel. Doesn't always have to be with the same person. You don't always have to end up with that person. But that being said, I really think that's all that's coming through. I feel like this is just a deeper aspect of this loving situation that came out at the end. Not necessarily a clarification of earlier, but because we do have the Queen of Swords twice, and I feel like, I already kind of touched on that, so I don't really think there's much coming out, much else that I have to say here, so we're going to get a closing message. See if I can shuffle without messing up the cards. Kind of take up all my space. Oops, there we go. Oh, got it. So closing message here, we have Beaver and Kangaroo. Beaver says, investing in home comforts provides security and family togetherness. Kangaroo says, as events take on their own momentum, you take a true leap forward. I feel like this is really an embodiment of what the divine feminine energy is coming through for this reading. If you do resonate with this, I feel like this is a confirmation that taking care of yourself, taking care of your home, taking care of your emotions, letting things flow, not trying to fight what's going on, that is kind of the energy that seems to be coming forth for you, in the sense of needing to embody that further. And so if you have been embodying that, like, awesome, that is great. But if you haven't, maybe work on it a little bit more. Learn to become comfortable with the emotions you may be feeling. So, like, let's say if this is applying to a masculine counterpart, or if you resonate more with the masculine energy, there's a need for you to focus a bit on flowing with your own emotions, maybe focusing a bit on the home, and that can mean anything, right? It doesn't always have to be like spending time with family or cleaning up around the house. Maybe it just means becoming more comfortable in your own skin and learning to accept yourself without the masks that you've been wearing for so long. But if we're taking a look at this in terms of the feminine energy, I feel like this is just a confirmation that you are flowing right now. You are in a very comfortable space. Now, it seems like you've been working on yourself for a while, and especially with this time, this downtime that we've all had, it's really helping you come into this state of being comfortable and really learning to flow with the events of the world and your life and your emotions. That's really all that's coming through. I don't have any other messages Spirit wants me to say. So if you'd like to book a personal reading, please send me an email to jzargoshepard@gmail.com. Thank you all so much for watching. I love you so much. I hope you have a beautiful week. But I will see you in your next reading. Bye-bye.